Hey friends, it's Rene here with Domestic Machine Sewing, and I am sewing on my Janome HD 3000 today, and we're going to do an easy pattern, an easy one after 3 classic zip around wallets last week. At least I do. I got one more I'm doing, and I'll show you what I did without using glue. Because you know she uses glue through the whole thing, and I used glue one time. I was trying to get rid of all glue, and I'll show you what I did. But anyways, today we're going to do an easy sew. Snap it up. It's a box, and I did one out of cork and waterproof canvas. I wouldn't try this first. It was difficult to turn, and then my snaps had a hard time snapping. And it was very difficult to turn because the other side of the waterproof canvas is kind of sticky, and then this is thick cork. And I would try material first, fabric first. I did put a piece of Decaville Light in the center and ironed it onto the lining. There's basically 3 pieces that you need besides your snaps, but 3 pieces of fabric. You could do 4, make it thicker, more firm if you want. So I have my lining cut out. I have my exterior, and then I've already ironed on my foam. I'm doing, not foam, fleece. I ironed on my fleece. You can use foam, but I'm doing fleece. I didn't use any interfacing on this one except for the Decaville Light in the center there, which I'm glad because I could barely turn the cork and the waterproof canvas. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this out. And what I did and what she does is when you're using fabric, I couldn't do that with a cork. I laid it down and traced it. Let me put you down here. Whoops, sorry, I don't mean to shake you up. Is you lay your fabric down and then you lay your pattern piece on top. And I put weights down. You pin on the outer side where your fabric is, and then you use a rotary cutter and cut around the edges. I did that this time with my fabric, and it worked out pretty well. But so in other words, you have a square sheet of fabric, and then you place this on top. You have all 3: your fleece, your lining, and your or foam, whatever you have, and your exterior fabric. And then you're going to hole punch right at where the points are on the V part. And then you're going to mark your fabric, because when you do your top stitching, you're going to sew to the point. And you're going to need that point. So we're going to put right sides together, and I need to mark at the lining since we're doing right sides together. So I'm going to put right sides together. I've already ironed on the fleece. I think I said that. So you want to make sure you have 2 short sides. Let me see. I think I'm going to put you at a better angle here. Over here. Hopefully that's better. You have 2 long sides and then 2 short sides. And so line up your fabric, and I'm going to put the pattern piece back on it because, whoops, I didn't mark this part. So I am going to use a heat erasable pen, and I'm just going to do a circle there. A circle there, a circle there, and a circle there. Okay, so we got our circles. And so now we can pin them, which I think I will do, or you can clip them. But since this is all fabric, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to make sure it's lined up. And just pin. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch stitch all the way around. We're going to leave a 4 inch gap. Now let me tell you, I left a 4 inch gap on the shorter end, like she recommends in her pattern. This is, I think I told you, it's a free pattern. Snap It Up by Moments by Liz. Join our Facebook group and you can download the pattern. Free, easy, and it's also a great organizer to make boxes. Like I'm going to put, and I also, another thing I did is I upsized, increased the size to 115% on my printer before I printed it out, and I printed it out on cardstock. So this is the larger size. I'm going to put it on top of my rolling card over there because it's so messy on top, and make it hopefully a little bit more organized. You know how crazy it can get when you're sewing. You just throw things everywhere, or at least I do. I do try and put all my scissors and my markers and all that stuff back where they belong. But junky stuff, I'm gonna pin it on the corners because I don't want them to move. Goodness, I haven't pinned anything in a long time. I usually only pin when I'm sewing clothes. I'll put one in the center for good measure. Okay, so we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I have a, you know, I put black up top because I thought I was going to be doing the lining, the outer fabric, so I need to put the blue up top, or a white. I think I'll do a white. I don't know what I was thinking. I had a white drop a minute ago. There it is. That's not my quilting. Because y'all know I've been quilting. No. I use Gutermann thread. This is Coats and Clark because I had, when I first started sewing, I've always used Coats and Clark because I was doing clothes mainly. And then I found out, which, you know, I saw it because I'm always cleaning out my machines. Gutermann leaves less lint, so I try and get that. My Janome, that was recommended to me by my Janome girl dealer, who I bought this machine from. And what's so funny, you know, I've been sewing on my semi-industrial, semi-domestic Juki, and it has a few bells and whistles like a up-down needle button, a cutter button, or you could use your presser foot to cut. And it also, you feed the thread from the side, from left to right, instead of front to back. And so when I first did this, when I first did that first cork one today, I was trying to put it in from left to right, and I'm like, why can't they go in? Crazy, crazy. You have to adjust. I worked on my vintage Singer last week. It's a Singer 99, and I had to do adjustments on that because, you know, it's been a while since I've sewn on it. It's probably been longer on my Singer than it has my Janome. But you do need to get them out if you have more than one machine, and give them some use so they don't freeze up on you. I'm trying to use my needle threader here because I always have issues with this. I feel like my big old fingers just get in the way. Okay, here we go. Nope. There we go. Didn't need that. Okay. Let's try this again. So we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, and we're going to leave a 4-inch gap. So I'm going to leave a 4-inch gap on this side, maybe a little bit longer, to make it easier to turn out. So let me get a ruler here. I got these commando clips and put it on the side of this table on my Juki machine because I can just hang them, the ones that have holes, I can just hang them up out of the way, and they'll be right there by my machine. Handy dandy, organized, semi. I think I might do 5. It was a struggle to turn that cork out. don't want to go through that again. Kill my fingers. And this is fabric, but it does have fleece on it, so put my rulers back where they belong. Put my erasable pen. Okay, so I'm going to start a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to start where the marking is, where I don't mark, where I don't sew past. Back stitch. Oh, I am doing, oh, I had on 2.5 inch stitch length. So, I don't know why I have this Teflon. I meant to change this foot too. So that was another thing. I couldn't find my Teflon foot, but it was up here. Let me pull you up here. So it was up here where Juki, I mean not Juki, but Janome has where they store your feet. And Juki doesn't have that on the machine, so I'm like looking for my foot everywhere. And it was right here. Don't look at the mess back there. Messy. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to back stitch and take this thread off because, I mean this foot off because I don't need a Teflon foot. I just need a regular foot. And I'm putting it back up top where it belongs. Crazy, crazy Renee. Now where did I put the other foot? Did I not put that back in its spot? Y'all, I tell ya, sometimes I just wonder about myself. There we go. I didn't put it back where it's supposed to be. Also, when you start sewing on your machine, you need to, when you first start sewing, think about your fabric and how thick it is, and do you need to adjust your pressure on your presser foot. My knob is right here, and it's on my Janome. So think about that, because we're gonna have to make adjustments. And usually I don't remember till I start sewing and go, oh, why isn't that sewing through it? Well, because it's too much pressure. Or it's wobbly and I go, oh, I need to tighten the pressure. Okay, here we go. Back stitch. Remember, 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm walking it to the edge to turn it. Needle down. Pivot. Now I'm sewing to the dots. Let me show you on the pattern. You're going to do a 1/4 inch all the way around and sew to the dots, needle down, pivot, and then sew back up here, and then sew all the way around. Then we're going to come back and do the other lines, sew the other lines. So sew to the dot, walk it if you need to, needle down. Oh, I keep forgetting to put you down. Okay, there we go. Needle down, press her foot up, pivot, and back up. Needle down, pivot. This is where I keep my needles, magnetic thing. Walmart. Let me move my table just a little bit. It keeps moving on me. I call my Janome, this is Betty or Betsy. I call my Juki Pearl because she purrs. I think I need a little more pressure. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Fabric seems to be sliding. Okay, needle down, pivot. You could use vinyl with this. You could use, if you use vinyl, I would use a thin, excuse me, a thin lining. And I would just maybe put woven fuse on the lining for the interfacing. The thing is turning it. and then getting your points out. When it gets so thick, it's hard to do. And it's also, you want your points out and then at the points, because you got to put snaps in. And I'll show you the snaps. Sewing to the dot, needle down, pivot. Needle down, pivot. I keep hitting this. I need to put this down a little bit further. My mic. I don't want to pull you off from your spot here. And maybe just a little bit over there. There we go. Seems kind of dark, doesn't it? Let me lower you a little bit. Lower the lighting and maybe that'll be better. There we go. A little better. I need to get a underlight right here. Let's see. Need to go a little bit further. Excuse me. Now we're on home stretch as far as this goes. So to the dot, kneel down, pivot. Make adjustments as you go. I want my fabric to match up a little bit better, but that's okay. It will, no one will notice because we're going to turn it right side out. And then sew to your mark. You got to leave an opening. I keep wanting to push a button to automatic cutter. Here's my cutter. I have one right here too. Now we're going to trim our corners. And we're going to trim into the V. And what I learned last time is you want to go all the way as close as you can to that point without going over, and maybe cut a little slit right by that so it will be it won't wrinkle. I'm looking for my fabric scissors. So here's my dot. And I'm going to cut the V to that. Close as I can. I need my scissors sharpened. And then I'm going to cut a little bit here. Just so it'll lay better. When I did the cork, it kind of wrinkled. But you can't tell. Once you fold it up, you can't tell. So no stressing on that. I love organized boxes, organizing things in little boxes. I just need more shelving to put them on. Okay, I already did that one. Taking the needle out. Now we want to clip our corners almost to the sewing, but not cutting the thread. Cut the fabric, Rene, not your finger. One more. Trim my threads. Throw these over in a waste basket. I say waste basket. It's a box with a bag in it. That's my waste basket. Okay. In the ways I can find it again if I remember where I put it. Now we're going to turn it right side out. I'm going to stick my hand in there. And this is the reason why I want to make it a little wider. I made it almost 5 inches instead of 4. She calls for 4. It's because I can get my hand in there and I can grab and pull it through. So I would say do it on the longer side, not the shorter side like she does, calls for in the pattern, because it's just easier turning it out. Being able to get your hand in there. So I am going to have to remark where I drew my lines. I'll show you. Put it up a little bit. Oops, sorry. Just poking it out with my fingers first. I probably could put Woven Fuse 2 on the lining, but after turning that cork, or trying to turn that cork, it was a real challenge. So I'm trying to make it an easy Monday. Made tons of mistakes with that other one I did with cork. I'm trying to give us an easy sew, and I'm like, oh my word, let's make 1,000 mistakes while we're at it. Poke it out the best you can. The corners is what makes everything hard to turn. So if you let me get my little pokers here. I have a wooden knitting needle. Got it from Joann's. Use your 40% coupon. It's got a point, but it's kind of a blunt point. And then I have this little wooden stick. I have no idea where I got it from, but it's also got a point, but it's really more blunt than the wooden needle. So I start with this first, so I can use more force on this without poking through the fabric. And then I'll gently use the pointer, my knitting needle. Oh, I cut myself somewhere. Okay. These might be cute to sell at my Olive Branch location. Not the boutique, but the Olive Branch. So I'm going to iron this, and then let me pull my little table over here and I'll iron it. And then we have to mark it again. Lots and lots of steam, and I think it needs water. So let me get some water here. This is not a fancy iron, it's just an Eversteam, a Black & Decker Eversteam from Walmart, and it has lots of steam, which is what I like. Now I need to fold this in and fold this in for my hole where you left to turn it. You need to close that off, and so I'm going to iron it first. Burn myself with steam. When it's thick with that fleece, it's hard to get it to fold under evenly. I'm working on it. Okay. So, I am bleeding. I need a Band-Aid. Hang on just a minute. Let me get a Band-Aid. Y'all keep Band-Aids in your sewing room. Didn't realize I was bleeding. Where's my Band-Aid? Oh, I must have used it. I usually keep them in my tray right here. It's not bad at all. I'm gonna just wipe it off. I just don't want it to get on the fabric, which I don't think it has. Oh, let's see here. Who knows how I did that? Who knows? I poked myself with a needle. I'm going to iron the center of this a little bit better. Okay. I think I'm good. So, that's a pretty point. That worked out well. One's kind of wrinkly. Not bad. That's the wrinkly one right there. But you're not going to notice it when you fold it up. So what we're going to do next is we need to top stitch all the way around. Top stitch all the way around it. And then 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And my stitch length on my Janome HD 3000 only goes up to 4. So I'm going to put it on 4. And then we need to draw our lines to where else we're going to sew. I guess we can do that now. I had done it before, forgetting that I'm going to turn it back out. It's not going to be the same. So what you do is you measure from the point to point. I'm trying to get you in. Point to point, you measure 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to line up my 1/8 of an inch at each point. And then I'm going to draw a line. Hopefully the pink will show up on this black. Not too good. Let me try the blue. This is a heat erasable pen. I know I sometimes sound like a broken record, but I have found on vinyl, I don't use it on the front side anymore because the pen itself makes a mark on the vinyl. The color of the ink will disappear. The ink will disappear, but the marking where you drew the line will stay there. So I just use chalk usually on vinyl, unless it's on the back side. I can use a regular pen on the back side. I'm having to go over this. My friction pens are kind of giving out on me here. Let me see. Not bad. Okay, then we're going to do this side, and then we're going to do this side, and this side. You're going to do this way, then you come back and do this way and this way. Make sense? Because you're going to sew on those later. So make sure you're 1/8 of an inch in from the corner. And draw your line all the way top to bottom. Now you do want to use some kind of erasable marking pen or pencil or chalk. But this is your guide to sew after we top stitch. I can semi-see that. Now let's do this one. And a little bit, I can't film it, but I'm going to be sewing the Estrella slouch bag by Ora Rosa. I think it's who it is. I'm almost positive. Ora Rosa. I can't do a tutorial on her. When you buy the pattern, she has already approved who can do a tutorial, and all others are not approved. She picks different ones, it looks like. Not the same every time, I don't think. It didn't look like it when I was looking at a couple of patterns by her. Yep, I can see that one. I can see clearly now. We did have rain a minute ago. That's an old song. Oldie Goldie. I wish these were new pens. I'm gonna have to look and buy some more. I am like almost out of every interfacing except for Woven Fuse 2. So I need to put a order in the barb, but I want to sell a purse first before I do. Okay, that one works. That one works. That one I'm struggling with. So let me do this one again. Actually, I need to keep it that way. Right here is where I can't really see it. The dark black. Okay. Hang up my ruler, put my pen away, and we move on. Moving on. So now I'm going to change my thread to black on top and white. I'm going to keep the white on bottom. And this time I'm using Gutermann, because that's what Janomi's like, or at least the domestic machines. I'm not sure about the HD9, which is, I think it's industrial or semi-industrial machine. Get in there now. Here we go. This one's much easier to thread than that left or right. I think the holes are smaller. Okay, let me put away some of the stuff here so it don't roll everywhere. So we are going to do a number 4 stitch length, and we're going to sew 1/8 of an, so 1/8 of an inch all the way around, top stitching. Needle down. Oh, I need to move you down. Besides the needle down. Needle down, pivot. And see, it's kind of thick right here, so I need my little pushing tool. I got this a long time ago when I was doing, what was I doing at the time? Little stamp things, embossing, and so you would use one tip because they have a little rounded ball at the end. So it's a good little stiletto. I did not make my marks for where I sew down to, so what you want to do is make sure you have your marks, but really all you have to do is sew to the crossing of that. So let me, what I didn't do on the top is I didn't do the holes again, and that's where you want to sew to. But you have a cross mark where the lines cross, and right at that center is where you want to stop, pivot, and do it again. Okay, let me go down. That's why I need to see my markings, and I'm not really seeing them very well, but it'll be okay. Getting stuck in the thick part at the top and the corners. Okay. Walk it if you need to. Needle down, pivot. I'm going to use my stiletto this time so I don't get my finger. There we go. There we go. Needle down, pivot. Needle down. Need my stiletto because these corners are thick in my machine. A walking foot, you can use a walking foot if you don't want to do this. Walking box foot would probably be good, especially. Oh, you know what? Crud. Ugh. We're supposed to sew that closed and it's not. I didn't have it. It came on unironed, unfolded. So let me take out that little bit of stitching. I don't like using my seam ripper, but I do like using these scissors. These scissors are a little too thick for me on the ends, but these are just very thin. These are good embroidery scissors when you're using your embroidery machine because you can get way down in there and cut those threads short. So this is all part of it. I could be a professional seam ripper at this rate. I think that's okay. I'm going to leave that. This is for me anyway. I'm going to leave those. This is the part I need to get tucked in. I need to tuck this part in. So it will match. Got my little threads off that we sewn and had to pull it out. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to start back here on this line. Back stitch. Hold it closed. There we go. Walk it to the corner. Get my little stiletto out. I'll grab something. Oh, my needle. Needle down, pivot. Needle down, pivot. Needle down, pivot. Needle down, pivot. push my finger towards the spot where my automatic cutter is on my other machine. Okay, so now we've done all the way around, and you don't see any black thread through the bottom, which is always good, which means you're I just saw a thread. Did I see a thread? Okay, so now we're going to sew those lines we drew. We're going to sew from top to bottom, and then over here, top to bottom, and then top to bottom on this side and top to bottom on this side. I'm keeping the same thread, white in the bobbin and black on top. I got a frog in my throat and will not get out. Okay, here we go. Back stitch and just follow that line. Oh, I'm going to switch it to a 2. No, I can keep it on 4. Never mind. Just follow it all the way. It's better to go straight down each corner instead of pivot and turn and do the box, because then you have to come back and do all those other little corners. Okay, needle up, trim your thread and do back down. I gotta make sure on this machine, I make sure I have to have enough top thread or it will come out. Now on my Singer, I can start needle down and I'll have to have that long a thread back, pull back, and it won't come up. But this one, even with the needle down, it still comes out. Back stitch. Put some of the stuff on my table away, knocking it. Trim your threads. Okay, now I did from top to here. Now we're going to do from top to here. I'm going to start in a little bit and then go back so I don't have to worry about my stiletto. I got too much pressure on my pressure foot, so I'm going to change it back because I got a wrinkle. I got to wrinkle. My top thread came out. I'll fix that. Okay, cut your bobbin thread. Just double check these at the end. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Did those? No, it's this one. Okay, trim our threads. Now all we have to do is put the snaps on. I need to move my trash over down there, so all I have to do is just slide it down the strings. Well, I can't get through. So I'm going to take it to the iron. She has you take it to the iron and iron up, iron up, iron up each side. So now we're going to take our snaps. Now I'm going to use, she used cam snaps. And so I have cam snaps, and you get a kit with awl, that's what you call them, an awl. a poker on Amazon. And so I bought these a long time ago because I do a lot of snap tab key fobs, different things. I could use those white ones, but I think what I'm going to do is use these. And these are bigger. And I got these on Amazon also. It's a kit. But you have 4 pieces to these. I wonder if, you know, I might try my cam snap, because my only concern with my cam snap is they won't snap because it's thick. So I might have to just lower them. But a white would be pretty on that, wouldn't it? Because that's all I got on my cam snaps to match it. Yeah, let's try cam snaps and see if I can get it through. Because you only need 2 cam snaps, whereas the other snaps you need 4 per 1 snap. That's a little much. No, wait a minute. No, you just need 2. 2 here and 2 there, just like cam snaps. Never mind. Don't pay attention to me. It is Monday and I am feeling it. Okay. Gotta get all my little snaps out. Start us out. Hopefully I have the back ones. They're not in here though. Let me check down my bag here. I made this rope bag a long time ago, and I keep some of my craft stuff in here. So I may have a bag of white that I didn't put in my little container. I don't see one though. So I'm gonna have to use a different color. No white in there. Pink. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. So let's let me double check. How will I use, oh, there's one. Okay. I need to separate these. That would be better. I just kept them the way they came mostly and refilled that spot. There's another one. This will get us started. Get us started. Okay, what are we going on? 45 minutes. 48 minutes? 48, I think. So I'm going to poke a hole with my, they say use all, but I'm using my grommet set. It does grommets. It does also punches a hole. And what I'm going to do, let me move this out of the way for you, is she matches the shorter end on the outside. So I'm going to snap it like that on the outside with the shorter ends. And so I'm just going to do like that, put them together, and I'm going to punch a hole through the whole thing. With my little grommet set here. Move these out of the way so I don't knock them off. Go in just a little bit more so it won't be so thick with my little snaps. And you just squeeze it. And there you have your hole. Now we go all the way around, do these. Oh, need to move it up. Last hole. Remember, you're taking this shorter one and it's going to be on top when it snaps. And so I'm just crossing them over and just punching a hole in both of them. Okay. Put that to the side. Now I'm going to go back with my scissors And I'm going to, wherever it didn't go all the way through, just poke a little right there and then trim it. Like that sticking up. See how that's sticking up? You just trim that piece of material off. Just makes it easier for your snaps to stick. Okay, they all look pretty good. Okay, so now if you've never done cam snaps, I use this little tool. I have no idea what it's called, and you just squeeze it. This can hurt your hands, and then it gets loose, like it's pretty loose. I probably need a new of these things to make it tighter, but we're going to roll with it. So the male goes on the shorter part on the outside. So I'm sticking the male piece, which is going to be, oh, please. It's got a little prong type thing, a raise, and this is what they call the female piece, and then you have your little prong for each one. Okay, so I'm going to stick it through from the outside, so you see that when you're, and then I'm going to put, I dropped it again. Let me get the other one. Put this over, and what I was doing before, because they were coming undone on some of these things I was doing, especially in the thick areas, I was super gluing it, and I may need to do that with these. Putting glue on it. Maybe I'll use fabric tack, because that's pretty. I'll get my glue out. It dries quicker. I'm going to put this down, so. Okay, so I'm going to put a little dab on the point, and it just drips down the side. I can get it to come out. I just used it a few minutes ago. Can't be dry that quick, right? Maybe so. So I'm going to stick a needle down in it. Yep, just need that. Wipe off my needle and drop a little spot on there. Oh goodness, got some on my finger. Oh goodness gracious, Renee. You're good for a laugh, that is for sure. Got the needle stuck to me because I was going to wipe it off. Okay, let me get this on here before it dries. I don't like using super glue. It messes up my nails. I just painted them this morning. So I'm going to stick the flat side down on this part, the black part, and then the other side up. If I can quit sticking to my needle, my finger. And you just squeeze as hard as you can. This one needs tightening, this little tool. I'm going to hang on to it for a second. Okay, that looks good. Let me pick up that other one I dropped. Okay, now we're going to do the female. And it's going to go snap. This is going to snap into this. So you need the cap, which is the cap, on the inside instead of the outside. You just do opposite. So I'm going to stick that in there. See, it's opposite. And a little dab of glue. And get a female part. And then put the flat part on the black again and just squeeze. Make sure it's kind of centered on that thing, or it messes up the snap. But this, I mean, you're not supposed to be able to squeeze it this close, so I really need to. There we go. And then you can snap them. Hopefully. Yep. Oh, and that came off. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's too thick. I need 20mm prong ones, I believe. So I'm just going to take this scissors and unsnap it. Flew somewhere. So I got to redo these. So you go all the way around and you put your snaps on. And I'm going to do that. You don't have to sit there and be bored with me making the mistakes of my snaps not sticking. So here it is. The great thing about this, you can make a box, snap it all together, or you can store it flat like this, and then you can make several and just store them flat. Hopefully these will snap. Yep. It's unsnapping them is the thing. See if they'll stay. So there's our little box, our little storage bin. I love it. You can use even more firm interfacing if you want. You can also, what I was thinking about is, you know how this side folds like this? You could do a little seam, 1/8 of an inch top stitch on each side to make it stand up more. So I would top stitch all 4 pieces, and that way make it stand up more. I think it's cute. I need all the storage help, so this is going to help me. It's pretty, isn't it? This is a real soft one, and the cork one is much more firm, and it was hard to sew. So you can stack them, or you can lay them flat and stack them. Anyway, that's an easy sew. It's a free pattern. Go Moments by Liz on Facebook, and it says Snap It Up. I think she calls it the Snap It Up block, but you'll see it on her in her announcements, I believe it is. So you need an easy sew to relax and not be so stressed about turning curves and turning out bags. Just take a break and sew one of these this week. Later on in the week, I'm hoping to have an Estrella done that David asked me to sew. I cannot do a tutorial on it because she has restricted just certain people do her tutorials. When you buy the pattern, you'll see that she lists who can do tutorials and everybody else cannot do a tutorial, which is fine. So I want to honor that, and I'm just going to show you some different things you can do with the pattern and the bag after I sew it up. So y'all be looking for that later on this week. And thanks for joining me today. I appreciate the likes. I always forget, so I'm reminding you to please give me a like. That helps my videos circulate on YouTube, and it helps others see and be encouraged to sew on their domestic machines, because we can do a lot of stuff with our domestic machines. We don't need this industrial. I have no room for industrial. I do have it in semi-industrial, but it's still semi-domestic. But anyways, and if you have never subscribed, I'd love it if you subscribed. Just also click the subscribe and then click the bell, and you'll be notified when I load my next video. Thanks for joining me. Y'all have a great rest of the week.